Welcome to NewYorkTrue.com. Today we talk with Kevin Boyle, editor of Rockaway's newspaper, The Wave. The Wave, published since 1893, has faced two major challenges in recent years: the business tsunami that has swept through the newspaper business, and an actual hurricane that destroyed the Wave's office and battered Rockaway, damaging or destroying the homes of many of the Wave's readers and the businesses of many of its advertisers. Sandy sent 6 feet of water into the Wave's ground floor office, destroying it and all its contents. Among the lost contents, the Wave's archive of more than 100 years of past editions and the current subscriber database. Like many of its neighbors, the Wave struggled to get back in operation. For the first time in more than 115 years, it briefly suspended publication. The staff moved upstairs to makeshift offices and quickly resumed publishing, however. It continues to operate from there as reconstruction continues on the ground floor. We began with a little background from Kevin Boyle. Kevin returned to The Wave in the aftermath of Sandy after a 13-year hiatus.
It's called The Wave because of a wave of fire, not because of the proximity to the ocean. There was a big fire in a part of Rockaway called Seaside, and somebody produced a newsletter, Wave of Fire Strikes Rockaway, and it was eventually shortened to The Wave. So it's truly an institution. It's the only newspaper in Rockaway. Might as well also say it's the oldest weekly in New York City, and the third oldest paper behind the Times and the New York Post. I think we're out on our own here, and that every now and then some other paper will come in on an issue, but we live it every day. You know, and a lot of civic groups pop up because they feel like there are needs not being met. So it's an active, sometimes acrimonious community. Here we have the ocean, we have the bay, we have one end of the peninsula and the other, and everybody here has something in common. And that lends itself to a newspaper, one good, strong voice newspaper.
The Wave had a circulation before Sandy of about 10 to 12,000. It's back to about 75% of that now. I asked Kevin how advertising revenue is compared to pre-Sandy levels.
Because some new people come in, like construction companies and all that, it's probably about 75%. And that sounds healthy on one hand, but when you want to hire another reporter, it's not so healthy.
The Wave has been both a leader and a laggard in expanding beyond newspapers' traditional print business model. It established a website and instituted a paywall over a decade ago, maintaining it as many large papers struggled to do so. Until Sandy, however, it did not use Twitter or Facebook effectively, but has now markedly and successfully expanded both.
The online traffic has been at an all-time high, and people have told us on the city level that they found our editorials and other items through Twitter and Facebook.
We spoke about the Wave's role in post-Sandy Rockaway.
Can't speak for my predecessor's editorial philosophy. My own going forward, however, is it's important to shine a best possible light on Rockaway. I don't like kicking dogs when they're down, and Rockaway needs some cheerleading. So if the business opens, we want to tell everybody about it. If there's a new development, if a ferry comes in and it's great, we want to tell people there's alternate transportation. So we do at the same time have to hold city officials' feet to the fire a little bit, because investments are being made in Rockaway. They're going to alter the future of this peninsula forever, or forever as far as we can see. So it's important to stay vigilant about what they're doing and demand that they listen to the people. They say they're listening. We're not so sure sometimes, so we have to at least make that demand. But overall, I really want to just focus on positive things that are happening here, and that crime has gone on just like it always has, but I have made the choice to not focus on it. As there's an old expression in journalism: if it bleeds, it leads. And sorry to say, the Waves followed that philosophy through the years, but not so much anymore. More and more people are starting to realize the Wave is a real presence, a needed presence in this community, and that so we're getting a lot of feedback both in letters to the editor, comments online. We encourage it. We do believe that people, actually when I first came on board, I wanted to reinforce the fact that the Wave is a community forum, that we want to encourage it as a forum, that they might not agree with us, but we want the open dialogue. I do believe newspapers are only as strong as the people who are reading it, and we want them to be as engaged as possible. And again, that's a thing that we don't want to necessarily shove our views down their throat, but we want them to at least be aware of what's going on. You know, we face some really crucial times coming ahead. It's the reason I came back as editor, because I think these are most challenging and exciting times for Rockaway. At least for as long as I've been here, it's a place worth fighting for. I love living here and working here, but it's really, really important, some of the things we face, you know, whether it's sand on the beach, or flood insurance rates, how to deal with you know, rising tides, etc. You know, we're up against it in a lot of ways. And Sandy brought a lot of notoriety to Rockaway. We're hoping there's a Rockaway renaissance that an equal amount of people want to know about.